Welcome back. Hello, my friends. I just did a review of another DC animated film and got asked, about the many that there are, where to start. I haven't seen half of them, so I'm not going to give opinions on a lot of them right now. Also, this isn't really a review. This is a list of the DC animated films. So get a piece of paper and a pen and let's do this. I broke them up into sections. Hopefully that'll be easier. Also, just as an aside, I have a windscreen for my microphone, so we'll see if that cuts down on ambient noise and other obnoxious things like that. See if that is also an improvement. I've made this list a couple times and lost them, either moving or recklessness or whatever. So it was good. I wanted to make a list anyways. So now I'm going to share it with you. Again, these aren't in order, specifically, not in release order, but I broke them up into segments that might make it more enjoyable if you're looking for them. I'm going to start with the Bruce Timm universe. I don't know how many people call it. You always hear videos. People refer to it as this. And you think to yourself, who? I've never heard anybody refer to it as that. So some people refer to this as the Bruce Timm universe. He, along with several other people, started the Batman, the animated series, which of course also did the Superman animated series and eventually Teen Titans series. And they were all essentially connected. And they were heavily influenced by the Tim Burton films and really still considered some of the best versions of Batman. Even the video game trilogy is heavily based off the animated series, which is heavily based off of the Tim Burton movies. Voice actors, everything carried over for as many as they could. Some of the actors passed, others retired, or just didn't want to return. But for the most part, you got the same voices, even if it was different art. Okay, so again, enough digression there because this is going to be a bit of a long video. So I'm not going to give opinions and actors a whole lot. I will a little bit where I can't help myself, but I'll save those for actual reviews. If any of these are your favorites, let me know in the comments. And if any of these you want a specific review on, out of curiosity or because you haven't seen them, let me know and I'll add those to my list. So the first DC Bruce Timm animated universe film is Mask of the Phantasm. This one to me is still one of, if not the best animated film. In fact, it's one of the best Batman films. I love the story, the acting, it's a beautiful film. If you have not seen this, excuse me, just go buy it. Seriously, just go buy it because, excuse me, I'm never going to get over that cough. Yeah, go buy it. It's the best one there is. It's outstanding. Okay, moving along. They followed this up with the Batman Superman movie, World's Finest. I really enjoy this one. First of all, it's funny, and it's got the same voice actors from the animated series. And I recommend it just for the fun of it. One of the things that's digression. I don't want to get there. Okay. So this is an excellent follow-up. The next one is Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. A solid film, but then Sub-Zero, when he's done right, which he was in the animated series and he is in the video games, he's one of my favorite characters. Just phenomenal. So this movie, even though it's a little slower, is probably in a lot of ways not as good. But you just can't go wrong with Sub-Zero and Batman. Some years passed, and then they did Batman Mystery of the Batwoman. Now this is one, man, what a cast too. What an incredible voice cast this one has. This is one of them that makes me recommend to people that have the money and the desire to buy. This is one to buy. And it's also one to buy as opposed to download or whatever else. Although you could rent it if there's anywhere that rents anymore. Uh, but one of the things I like about this is the extras. There's a short on here, which you can probably find on YouTube. You can probably find it anywhere. Go about it however you desire. But it was one of the things I liked. I bought it. I'd watched the movie. It was very good. Now it's time to go through all the extras. And there's a short in there called Chase Me. And it's a dialogueless instrumental animated short of Batman and Catwoman. And it's fantastic. It shows how much can be done without even talking. Just music, art, and the expressions that the animators were able to do. And even though that's something I notice a lot in acting, it's really respectful to really show what animators can do. That it's not just the voice actors. If the animators aren't good or the studio isn't putting the money in, then you're not going to get as good of a product, regardless of the voice acting. And so this, not having any voice acting, really let the animators shine. So I enjoyed Batman Mystery of the Batwoman. Next one is Superman and BRAINIAC Attacks. I had to look this up because I wasn't convinced that this wasn't just a two-parter of the TV series, because I tried not to include any of those. Sometimes you'll come across them at the store or whatever. You're like, oh, hey, one of the animated movies. I don't remember this one. And then you just find out it's just 2 episodes mashed together. This one, from what I read, is not. So if the microphone picked that up, that's my bad for not muting my phone first. It's muted now. My apologies. Moving on. Teen Titans, Trouble in Tokyo. I've never seen this. Not to be mean, but the art in Teen Titans took a dive, as did Batman when it got around to the new adventures of Batman. I don't know what it was, why they weren't putting the money into the studio or what, but the art really dropped. And so I didn't even know if this was the actual Teen Titans or not. So I haven't got around to seeing this one. Don't know if it's any good. They decided to use the Bruce Timm animation and such to make a Superman Doomsday. We'll get to this again later, not this movie, but this story. So it's important, if you're watching them, to know that there are 2 versions of this movie out there. There's the Bruce Timm animation, and there's the other animation studio. So keep an eye out for that, lest you watch the same thing twice. Watch both of them separate rather than watch the same one twice or skip over one of them because you think you've already seen it. They did a Wonder Woman movie. It was decent. I enjoyed the Wonder Woman movie. Green Lantern, First Flight, in that same animation style. Trying to recall, it's an origin movie. Most people would knock the Ryan Reynolds movie and discuss how this one is better and anything's better than that. I like the Ryan Reynolds movie. He never should have played Green Lantern. That's not who Ryan Reynolds is. I mean, he could, but he usually is going to play, himself. And if that's the case, you want him to play someone sarcastic like the Flash or something like that, not Green Lantern. Green Lantern should be more serious. Anyway, I like that movie okay. This one's good, the First Flight. Then the animation changed, but they kept using the voices. So you have Superman, Batman, Public Enemies. And I really like this. This goes back to World's Finest. I like when Batman and Superman are best friends, where they are 2 sides of the same coin. One is dark and brooding and volatile. The other stands up for, truth, justice, and he's the Boy Scout. And together, they're the perfect duo. And I'm tired of them fighting and everything. I didn't mind it in a story here, a story there, but them doing it consistently is getting old. It's getting real old. So this is a nice movie to watch and enjoy. It's a good story. It's a lot of fun to have that dynamic of the real Superman and the real Batman. That one followed with Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths. This one bridged the series Justice League and the series Justice League Unlimited. There's some mild arguments about whether it fully was meant to do that or not, but it really seems like it did. And it's not bad. Especially if you're a superhero fan, you start getting a lot more of them, of course, with Justice League. Superman, Batman, Apocalypse. I do believe this is a follow-up to at least Public Enemies, if not the Crisis one. So even though they're not all interconnected, here or there they connect a bit. And Superman, Batman, Apocalypse is good. I always enjoy Darkseid and Apocalypse and all of that. So this one is enjoyable. You get All-Star Superman. Not 100% sure that I've seen that, so I can't comment on it. Unfortunately, that was the last one for about 6-7 years of the Bruce Timm animation, and the voices would continue to do other work, but that was pretty much the end of it until 2017 when we got Batman and Harley Quinn. And I like this movie. I understand there's a couple questionable moments in it for fans of the characters and such, but I enjoyed it. Melissa Rauch, who was on Big Bang Theory, I wasn't sure. I wasn't against it, but I wasn't sure about her voicing Harley Quinn, but she does a great job. I really enjoy it. I need to buy this one and add it to my collection because I really enjoy this one. As I mentioned, so that's the end of that specific Bruce Timm series. It does continue with Batman Beyond. You know, he had that series that went on. There is a Batman Beyond the movie, which I'm almost confident is... I don't know if it's the pilot, but it's a couple episodes connected, so it's not really a movie. If you have Batman Beyond the series, or you've seen it, then you'll have seen this. But he did do one movie, Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. Really good. It undermines the many times Joker has died. Like, if you watch all of these, Joker dies in several of them. And, you know, they just bring him back because he's the Joker. But still, it was a good movie. Dark, too. Surprisingly dark for an animated film, especially back then. And that is actually the end of the Bruce Timm universe. So, but since I'm doing series, I'm going to go ahead and mention that there was one season called Beware the Batman. That was very enjoyable. I really enjoyed that. There was a Green Lantern series, ran for one season. Incredible. They really should have... I hope they do the Green Lantern Corps like they do this series. This was a good series. There is the Batman series, which was really enjoyable, and yet it had some problems. They made Sub-Zero, excuse me. They made Mr. Freeze boring, a typical villain, at least in the first season. I'm rewatching it right now, and I'm not loving it. And apparently everybody is a martial artist, including the Penguin, and that's a little weird. But overall, great voice acting, great characters, good humor, very enjoyable. And he got one movie called The Batman vs. Dracula. There are two comics that I know of where Batman fought Dracula, although in both of them it was Bruce Wayne. Well, I guess this is Bruce Wayne also, excuse me. This isn't Batman Beyond. This is The Batman. Still, it didn't capture either of those stories. And if I remember rightly, one of those stories was really good, really connected with me. And the other one was kind of dumb. But it's been years since I've read them. I don't know. So, you got The Batman vs. Dracula. Then, they did another one which gets a lot of hate, unfortunately. I love this show. Batman Brave and the Bold. It's goofy. It's fun. It's definitely for kids. You've heard me complain about that, about how superheroes are for kids. This one's for kids. It's nicer. It's lighter. And one of the things I love about it is he teams up with so many different heroes, some really obscure ones, and he fights so many villains, and again, extremely obscure ones. Ones you're just not going to get in a movie. You're not going to get in very many episodes of this series. So just to throw one out there and have people go, who the heck is this guy? But give him a minute to play is really fun. He got a movie, and it was Scooby-Doo and Batman Brave and the Bold. And I'll go into this again just a little bit later, but I love team-ups. Team-ups are one of my favorite things. It's been my favorite thing in comics. I wrote several dozen fanfare ones. I love when universes collide. It's one of my favorite things. When it's not done well, it's really disappointing. But when it's done well, when both universes are kept pure and what they were before the connection, you can have a lot of fun with it. And that just reminds me, there are a bunch of old superhero cartoons, and I'm not going to list them all here. But there's, these cartoons have been around for decades, back in the 60s and 70s. So there's also a 1972 Batman meets Scooby-Doo. The voice acting isn't as good, the animation is slower and choppier, but, if you like Scooby-Doo or you like to see some of that older stuff, it's fun. There was not a cartoon version, but of course the CW has a bunch of live action heroes. And I only mention that because they did one animated movie in that style with the voice actors from Flash and Arrow. And it's called VIXEN, the movie. And I haven't seen this yet. I don't have anything against it. I sort of like the CW stuff. I'm 2 or 3 seasons behind because it's gotten it got extremely melodrama. Some of them I abandoned. Supergirl, I couldn't keep watching. It got so... who cares? We're not talking about live action. We're talking about cartoons or animated movies. And the last one, I have not... This seems like too much for kids. For a grown person to enjoy. I don't know. I haven't dipped my toe in yet. I intend to. Whereas I love Batman Brave and the Bold, Teen Titans Go... especially because they ended their actual Teen Titans, which was a more mature content. Teen Titans Go seems a little, I don't know, just too played down for little bitty kids. But I don't know, I haven't watched it. And they got 3 movies, believe it or not. Teen Titans Go to the movies, Teen Titans Go versus the Teen Titans. I am actually very curious about that one. And Teen Titans Go see Space Jam, which is good that they went to see it because pretty much everybody I've talked to did not go see it. I have not gone and seen it. So that concludes the Bruce Timm universe and some of the more obscure ones. Here you go. These are the 16 currently loosely connected DC extended animated universe. So all of these basically... even though they don't tell one long story, their plots can't contradict each other. It started as they usually do. The comics did. The new movie of The Flash is going to copy this format. The animated movie Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox. It's when they decided to kind of combine everything that came before into this movie and then try to tell a parallel story where everything would be connected in this one. It reset everything. It went on to do Justice League War, which is pretty good. Son of Batman, I haven't seen. Justice League Throne of Atlantis. That one wasn't bad, bringing in Aquaman and everything. Batman vs. Robin. And I would say, honestly, the Justice League movies are probably more connected. The Batman movies, more connected. So even though they might mention each other, you're probably fine just watching all the Justice Leagues or all the Batmans and not worrying about watching all of these in order. But anyways, that followed with Batman Bad Blood. And then Justice League versus the Teen Titans. Justice League Dark, which I like Justice League Dark. I was always on board for, I believe it was Guillermo del Toro, wanted to do a Justice League Dark movie. They're missing the boat, man, not making a Justice League Dark movie. You can have a lot of fun with that. Of course, right now, they're dropping the ball with most movies, so it'd have to be the right people, as usual. Teen Titans Judas Contract. I haven't seen that. Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, which, like I said in my review, tied back to the Flashpoint Paradox and separates it from the other Suicide Squad animated movie. And again, it shows that you can really watch it all by itself. And if it needs you to know something, it'll throw that little information in there. Otherwise, you're mostly okay to just watch it as a standalone. Constantine, City of Demons. That one is very strongly a stand on its own, but it is a sequel to the Justice League Dark film. Then you've got, again, I was mentioning we had Superman Doomsday before. Now we have The Death of Superman, and that's followed by Reign of the Supermen, which we didn't get before. It was an interesting part of the comic series. I would have enjoyed if Christopher Reeve had not injured himself the way he did. It would have been cool to have had him fight a CGI Doomsday and die, and then do a sequel with the Reign of Superman, where 4 different actors played the different Superman, and then eventually the real Superman could return as a different actor like Henry Cavill and pick up and continue. And one that would keep the other 4 movies in the universe, and it would have been a good passing of the torch as opposed to just recasting. Unfortunately, life is brutal to everybody, and that's not what happened. There is also, and this is really important, I want to touch on this so you don't wind up wasting your money or time or anything else. There is Death and Return of Superman, and this combines both Death of Superman and Reign of the Superman into one movie. It's one long film. So if you want to have it because you're a collector or you like to have the whole series, that's great. If you want to watch just this one and not have to watch both of the others, or if you want to watch both of the others, and then you're like, ooh, a third one. It's not a third one. It's a combination of the other 2. Then Batman Hush, which honestly I would have thought was a standalone, but apparently it's part of the EU. Wonder Woman Bloodlines, which was pretty brutal. This was a heck of a movie. If they want to get their audience back with Wonder Woman 3, they could do worse than following this story and making this Wonder Woman 3. This was a good movie. And then the last one for now, at least, is Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. And I actually watched that before Wonder Woman Bloodlines. And so if you want to watch things in order, those are the 16 currently connected DC Extended Animated Universe. Now, this right here, I'm going to go into, these are the standalones. It's not to say that none of them connect at all, but mostly they don't. As an example, you have Justice League The New Frontier. This is an exceptional movie based off exceptional graphic novels. Great voice acting, a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind seeing this as a movie, especially if they are killing the Snyderverse and starting over. But they'll probably just do something lame. I hate to say it, Warner Brothers used to be my very favorite studio, and now... anyway, this is great. And it's fun to watch the Justice League in a time period other than current, which follows into the next one, Justice Society World War II. Haven't seen this one yet. I need to, because again, period piece, I really enjoy that kind of stuff. And I don't know that it's connected to anything, but I would enjoy more of these. I would enjoy a Batman film that actually takes place in the noir era of the 30s and such. Just one or two. Not a whole series, but it would be fun. Batman Gotham Knight. This one is an anthology series. It's like 6 stories. Some of them okay, some of them not great. Most of them got a problem or two. Batman Under the Red Hood. Again, I really thought this was part of the extended universe, but from my research, this is a standalone. Green Lantern Emerald Knight. This is also an anthology series. All the lanterns have been called to this point, and Hal Jordan is telling stories to a new lantern recruit. And as he tells the stories, it goes and shows you those stories. So you get to see a lot of different lanterns doing their thing. And I had wanted to mention this on my They Live chat with Drinker. I wanted to talk more about Roddy Piper than I got to. Roddy Piper actually voices a villain in in one of the segments on this. It's fantastic because he did a lot of not great movies. That's true, and he did a lot of great for a B-grade film, and then he just did some other stuff. And so it was awesome to see that Roddy Piper voicing a villain in a Green Lantern animated film. That alone makes this worth the price for me. There's some other good voices. If you look at the credits, apparently there. I'll go over that if I ever review it. Anyway, this one's fun. If for no other reason, I'll rent anything once, Sometimes just flat out buy it if it's cheap enough and I come across it, or I'm being irresponsible, which I usually am. If it has an actor I like, which is bad because I have like 200 actors I really like, and that includes actresses. I include both of them. And Roddy Piper is one of them. So this is one for me to own just because it's got Roddy Piper in it. Okay, moving on. Batman Year One, because you can never have too many stories of Batman just starting out, apparently. That's not to knock this movie. Justice League Doom. This is one of my favorite Justice Leagues. I would hate to see this remade as a movie because they've essentially had Batman do this a number of times already. But the entire attack on the Justice League that comes under, and it shows really why Batman, because you get that joke a lot. Oh, he doesn't have any powers. He doesn't have, what's the point of him on the team? And this one shows you what the point is of the Batman, of him on a team as powerful as the Justice League, that he really is as, oh man, I can't believe I forgot the word, invaluable as any of them. He's not bulletproof. He's not faster than a speeding bullet, but he's invaluable to the team. And this movie shows it. I really like this one. Superman vs. the Elite. I don't know if I've seen that one yet. Batman The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and The Dark Knight Returns Part 2. When I first read this graphic novel many years ago, it really blew my mind. It was something dark and aged old Batman and a Gotham that had gotten even worse, believe it or not. And it was amazing. Now, of course, everything's dark, everything's grim, and so it doesn't stand out as much. But really, when it came out, it was a unique graphic novel, to be sure. The animated film does not quite capture it, partially because I'm biased, and partially because they just maybe didn't have the guts to get everything they wanted to. If I ever do review this, I'll mention this again, but just in case I don't. And hear me out on this. I always wanted a live-action version of this movie with Billy Drago as this white-suited, kind of effeminate, really creepy Joker. Ted Levine, or Levine, I'm not 100% sure, as Gordon. If you know him mostly from Silence of the Lambs, you might be like, why? But if you've ever watched Monk and you've seen him as Detective Stottlemyre, he just looks like Gordon. He would be such an amazing Gordon. And here's where I usually lose people, but you gotta trust me on this. I always wanted Hulk Hogan to play Batman. Now here's why. One, I think he showed great acting ability in a couple of movies he did. He had moments. For the most part, he just plays himself. What he needs is an actor who grabs him and says, look, we're making a movie. You are not Hulk. You are this character. And he's done some pretty decent work. And he's shown real acting ability in some of his even cheesier movies. He really has. I think with the right director and his desire to prove himself, he would really put in a lot. And the second reason is because he is that Batman. Even now. Mind you, this would have been better about 10 years ago, granted. But even now, a live-action version of this would be amazing. And he's old, but he's still very fit. I mean, for his age, he's very fit. And even 10 years ago, very fit. Still muscular, but not super ripped, which this Batman isn't either. This Batman is old, and he's injured, and so is Hulk. And I think that the parallel would require a little bit less acting and actually be what you'd see on screen. And this Batman is not an acrobat. He's not a martial artist. He doesn't move his joints, his joints, but everything is, he's when he fights, he's brutal. He goes to put a person down. And so you just have this behemoth Hulk Hogan at 6'4" or something. I've heard up to 6'7", but things get blown out of proportion. But I've seen him in the ring. The man is huge. When you see him with ordinary people, he towers over Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hulk is huge. And you put him in that Batman costume, which wouldn't look like Michael Keaton's or Christian Bale's. A good costume that fits him, but is a little loose the way it is in the costume. And we just would have gotten an amazing version of this movie. And I even wish he had just voiced the character in the movie. But anyways, I digress. I just did not love this one, but I never really have. It's especially because everything tries to ape it now. Everybody wants to do Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. And it's like, it's been done. Let it go. Do something else now. Okay? There's Superman Unbound. I'm pretty sure I've seen this one. I don't remember. And then Batman Assault on Arkham. This one, of course, is not connected to anything because it is connected to the video games, which I love. I love those video games, all 4 of them. Yeah, that includes Origins. And the voice acting in this is top-notch. This is a great Suicide Squad movie. Obviously, this is one of the first ones I did. And I really recommend this one. This one's great. There's Justice League Gods and Monsters. Haven't got around to. Batman the Killing Joke. Haven't got around to. Also, I'm kind of annoyed with them taking existing properties and just turning them into movies. I really wish they would just tell original stories. Maybe that's one of the reasons Batman Mask of the Phantasm is so great. Was it wasn't a matter of, hey, this is a popular graphic novel, let's turn it into a movie. And I'm not against that. I just wish they would do more original stories, personally. Of course, when they do that, you get stuff like Batman Ninja. I haven't seen this. I've heard negative stuff about it, but I'm very rarely in sync with a lot of people, so I definitely got to see this. I don't like the idea, Batman Ninja. Now, there's Justice League versus the Fatal Five. I don't know if these are connected to any of the other Justice Leagues that I've listed here or not. And I got another great crossover, Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, come on. That is fantastic. The sad thing is, when I was in high school, actually that kind of dates me a little bit, doesn't it? And makes me sound way younger than I am. When I was younger, I used to write so many Batman Ninja Turtles. I don't know why. It just seemed like a great mashup that nobody had done and nobody was really looking to do. It wasn't very good, though. It was weird. It was all over the place. Nightmare sequences and all kinds of oddities. It was an interesting piece of work. I don't have it anymore. It's gone. But anyways, so I'm intrigued to see this. Batman versus the Ninja Turtles. That's just awesome. Superman Red Sun is an Elseworlds where Superman lands in Russia instead of America. There's some amazing Elseworlds novels, graphic novels. There's some dumb ones, but there's some amazing ones. I'd really like to see about 10 that I used to own turned into movies because they're really incredible. Superman Man of Tomorrow, Batman Soul of the Dragon. That one's pretty recent, haven't got around to that. Deathstroke Knights and Dragons. This is not on a lot of lists because this started out as a short series, I guess. They combined it into a movie. So I don't know why it doesn't make any lists usually, but it's on this one because it's a movie, Deathstroke. Most recently, Batman The Long Halloween, Part 1 and Part 2, which again is a very popular graphic novel turned into a movie again. Haven't seen it. I'm sure I will. And shortly is coming out another one I wish they'd stop doing, Injustice. I understand they haven't done any animated movies of it, so okay, they're doing one. All good. I miss Batman and Superman being partners, being the real dynamic duo, being the world's finest is what they are, and I want to see more of that. The game Injustice was fine. You know, you got to do something to have them all fighting, and it was not a bad story. And then they did Injustice 2 because they made money and they wanted to make another game. But I just wish they'd stop. I'm tired of bad Superman, you know. I just wish they'd quit. So I'll probably watch that because I hate myself, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure it'll be all right as a one-time story. I just wish they'd let off of that and get back to the Boy Scout Superman and the leader that everybody looks up to and so forth. Coming out soon in the theater, I think next year. I don't think it's coming out this year. DC's League of Super Pets. I don't know what that'll be like. It could be really funny. It could be really stupid. Who knows? And then also next year, Catwoman has her own called Hunted. So that'll be pretty cool to see if that happens. And then lastly, here's a two-parter that I just love what they did here. Even though the old series wasn't everybody's cup of tea, especially nowadays, it was very cheesy to be sure. The original 60s Batman series, it had a lot of cheese that just made it kind of enjoyable. Not great, not by any means, but enjoyable. And I love that they returned with Adam West and several of the other actors got to voice, and you can hear it in their voices. Their voices don't quite match the young, vibrant animation on screen, but it doesn't matter because it's amazing to see them return in Batman Return of the Caped Crusader. Sort of tripped over my own tongue there, Caped Crusader. And it just, as cheesy as it is and everything, it's just wonderful to see that back on screen. And even more beautifully, they did a sequel to it, Batman vs. Two-Face. And the beautiful thing here is William Shatner voices Two-Face. And I am a huge William Shatner fan. And they always wanted, they never got to use Two-Face, and I don't think they ever used Mr. Freeze in the old series, and they wanted to, and they just never did. And one of the reasons they didn't use Two-Face was because William Shatner was busy with Star Trek, and they wanted him for Two-Face. And I just think of going back in time and making that work, how incredible it would have been to see young William Shatner, Captain Kirk age, playing Two-Face on that animated series, even as corny and cheesy as it was. So this right here, this is a gem, in my opinion. This is a gem, and it doesn't get much better than that. And that's kind of it for the other standalone films. There are some showcases. One of them is, you have Watchmen Tales of the Black Freighter, which has nothing to do with anything. It was an obscure story in the middle of The Watchmen, and in the extended version, director's cut, I believe it's actually in the movie. Otherwise, it's usually an extra on the theatrical version that you can watch. It's a cool little story, but it has nothing to do with anything. They put out Batman Death in the Family. This upset a lot of people because I guess it has some clips from other things. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it. But this is a showcase. It's a bunch of short stories. It is not a full-length movie. You've got the Batman Death in the Family story. Then you've got short stories, about 10 minutes-ish, of sometimes longer, of Sergeant Rock, Adam Strange, The Phantom Stranger, and Death. Then they did another showcase called Superman Shazam, The Return of Black Adam. And this was cool. I really enjoyed this. Sadly, it was James Garner's last acting role. And I just love James Garner. He was a phenomenal man. And it's a real sad thing that he's gone. He's old, so, not that sad. We're all going to go at some point, and he got to live a long life and did a lot of wonderful things. But it was still sad because I would have enjoyed more with him. This is also a shame because it shows how bringing Henry Cavill back as Superman for the Shazam 2 movie would be amazing. Or bringing Henry Cavill into the Black Adam movie. But whatever. This is a pretty short story. It could have been a full-length one. I'm surprised it wasn't, but it's still good. And then it includes some shorts about the Spectre, Green Arrow, which really shows how Green Arrow has not been given his chance to shine, because this was a cool little short. Jonah Hex and Catwoman. And there's another DC showcase that's either out or coming out. And so far, the three that I've found that are on it is The Last Boy on Earth, Blue Beetle, the original Blue Beetle, Ted Kord. And I like him. He's more like Batman, more gadget-oriented. There's a new Blue Beetle who's on Batman Brave and the Bold. And he's in a lot of the other stuff now. And he's got this super high-tech weapon that's, I'm not sure if it's alien origin, I think it is, and that allows him to basically do almost anything, and it just isn't the same. So I like that they did one of the original Blue Beetle, Ted Kord. They've been teasing me with a movie about Blue Beetle for probably 2 decades now. It'll probably never get done. Anyways, it also has another short called The Losers, which maybe you saw that live action movie. If not, it's pretty good. And so that's it for the showcases. And then I'm going to close it out with possibly the least interesting stuff. That's why it's at the end. This is some really obscure stuff. I didn't go over it too much because there's just too many to do. Oddly enough, but I'm going to do them again real quick. There's a Batman trilogy called Batman Unlimited. It has Monster Mayhem, Animal Instincts, and Mechs vs. Mutants. I remember these being kind of boring. I'm not even sure if I watched all 3 of them. They were okay. Not a lot of humor. It just, I don't know. They didn't do a lot for me. There's this other one called DC Superheroes vs. Eagle Talon. I have no idea what this is. I guess it's a sequel to some Japanese cartoon about Eagle Talon, and they decided to tie in with America's Justice League. No idea about this film. Then for the younger ones, especially younger girls, although, you know, if I was still a young kid, I probably would have watched it. You know, there's no harm. I'm watching it a little bit with my daughter. It's DC Superhero Girls. There was a little short series where each episode was about 3 minutes long. And then they did their movie Superhero High, followed by Hero of the Year, then Intergalactic Games, and then Legends of Atlantis. I've only seen one of them, and it was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, though. And they eventually got their own, which ties me to the last part of this, Lego DC Superhero Girls, which has, they have a second one. I guess I didn't mark it down. I thought, oh, Superhero Girls, Superhero Villain High, and Brain Drain. And it's weird because they don't really look like Lego characters like most of the Lego movies, so it's kind of weird they did that. Maybe they thought it would appeal to girls more. I don't know what their thinking was. But that was the other thing I was going to say at the beginning of the video that I wasn't going to do, but here I am at 40 minutes, so I might as well. The DC Lego movies, there's a ton of them. And, you know, so tread lightly. There was, of course, the Lego Batman the movie, DC Heroes Unite, and followed by Batman Beleaguered. Then Justice League vs. Bizarro League, Cosmic Clash, Justice League Attack of the Legion of Doom, Justice League Gotham City Breakout, Aquaman Rage of Atlantis, The Flash, and upcoming Batman Family Matters, and then a Shazam Magic and Monsters. And I don't know if I've seen more than one or maybe 2 of these. I might. Lego stuff gets old to me. It's very repetitive. I do like the games, though. They get repetitive, too. And apparently next year, looks like there'll be a new series called DC Lego Lovecraft Chronicles, which I think is going to come after that Shazam Magic and Monsters. Shazam will somehow unleash monsters that are connected to Lovecraft. So they're actually going to do a Lovecraft DC Lego mashup. So, see, kids, you don't need to do drugs. Somebody on drugs will create weird enough stuff for you to experience it yourself. That's it. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to rewatch, pause and click, and write those down or whatever else. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this saves when I turn it off. And I'll see you guys again shortly. Thanks for watching.